Magic Makers. I'm Mombierella.
I'm Yukita Cosplay.
And I'm CJ Peterson. Welcome to Magic Making Mischief. Today we have a special guest, Mr. R.M. Hicks, who's also known as Vermillion Root. But before we get together to talk with them, you have to get your wands to the ready because we solemnly swear we're up to no good. So this weekend was full of lots of fun for those who joined Yukita and Mombi for Comic Conroe in Conroe, Texas.
Yeah, so much fun.
The pictures look awesome. I guess a lot of the artists and the vendors, I saw lots of pictures from them throughout the weekend as well. So really excited to hear or see the videos on that when Mommy posts them.
Yes, I've got the first day up already, and I'm working on the next couple right now. I've been sharing some pictures, so check those out because it gives you a hint of what happened. And we also
much happened.
We got some cool stuff like me and Yukita got new wands courtesy of Jeremy Willingham. Thank you very much.
Aren't they so
cool? Pretty? You can't really see, you can't appreciate the sparkles, but it's like real crystals on the end, and they each have like their own colors. Mine's got a purpleiness to it. It's
and
so
mine's
pretty.
Red for Sith Lords. Haha.
Awesome. Julie Brock says hi, Julie.
Hi, Julie. And he's with the 501st.
Jeremy says you're welcome.
Yay! So you can check him out at the 501st and the Star Wars enthusiasts, right? So like
cool guys, get to know
love
him.
that group.
Awesome.
I missed him this weekend. I missed y'all. Sorry, I wasn't able to come.
Too.
We missed
I'm
you.
also in the middle of finals or midterms week, so that's always fun.
Wee!
Yeah.
Love exams.
Yeah.
Party.
So we have a special guest today, artist Hicks. I guess what we're calling you. Is that how that works?
Yes.
Oh no, we lost the volume again. Yes, to go from there. Mommy, why don't you talk about how you guys met him?
There you go.
While he works on that.
We have cross paths at Comic Palooza, but we officially met at TerraFest last year. There you go.
I think I'm out on my own.
There you go. Good job.
It was actually really cool because he did one of the art pieces for Artists in Arms, which we've featured on here before, which is a charity that helps veterans with different forms of art. Love them. And
yeah, they have an event coming up, don't they?
I think so.
Yeah. Their anti-gala is coming up in April.
Mm-hmm.
Fancy.
And we are going to possibly have them on for a short to talk about it one more time, just to get a few more details since it's coming up so soon. But yeah, the Artist in Arms art auction, they do it every year at TerraFest, and the different artists, some of the different artists that are there will do the piece right there during the show, and then they auction it off. And we actually got this one from
there she is.
Wow.
My Elvira. Isn't she gorgeous?
Nice.
I can pull out the plastic.
First celebrity heartthrob. That was my first celebrity crush.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
And I love that it's pencil sketches, because whenever I first stopped by the booth, I'm just like, oh, okay. So do you mostly work in pencil? And he's just like, yeah. Like, but that's awesome though, because like you master your craft, right? Like I can't draw stick man, so I can't see anything.
So Marissa says hi.
Hi, Marissa.
Hi, Marissa.
Hello.
I actually have a few of his pictures if we want to look at them.
Yes,
obviously, yes.
Right.
Okay. I was able to pull some of them offline.
The only thing
I Legolas
these days are
no. It's
celebrity signatures of portraits that I did of them.
Randall. Okay.
We got distracted in character identifying. Okay. What did you say? I'm sorry.
This picture right here is from Hawaiian mythology. This is the goddess of the underworld.
Oh, wow.
So is this one of the ones you said was signed?
Yeah, that's actually signed by Lee Pace.
I see.
Oh, very cool.
Wow. Oh, cool.
So that's like one of the few things I collect anymore is I'll do portraits of celebrities.
Stephanie. Oh my goodness.
So pretty.
Fave.
Yeah, I like that one.
Oh, so you'll get your work autographed?
That is the Corpus Christi skyline in the background.
Oh,
so
wow.
Now what?
I didn't even notice that.
Because I did a convention in Corpus Christi, and the guy who was promoting it had been collecting my art for the past couple of years. So he says, I'm having these voice actors for this video game. He says, will you do a picture for it? I said, yeah. So I did. He's like, can you put the Corpus Christi skyline in the background? And so that's where those buildings.
That's really cool.
That's neat.
Have you guys been to Corpus Christi?
Mm-hmm.
I have not.
Oh,
Been there before, but not for like an event. No.
I love it there. We park our RV at the KOA, which is right on the beach, right there at Corpus Christi, and walking my dogs at midnight, right, just before bed. I can't believe how dark it is looking out over the sea, and all those stars just like coming out of that darkness. It was awesome. I love Corpus.
That's cool.
Awesome. What mediums did you do these in?
This is ink, but it's inked on the computer.
Okay.
So
That's cool.
I do pencils by hand on paper, and then everything else I do on the computer, whether it's inking or coloring.
Oh, cool.
So this one, did you put the ink in first and then colored it on the computer?
Yep.
Okay.
Why?
I know some that do that. I like this one.
This is my Persephone,
I love it. I love Persephone.
the goddess of spring, right?
Yes, the
And so
lore.
I'm here now, and with spring comes the yellow jasmine and bumblebees, and I really just wanted to do some bumblebees.
There you
Why
go.
not?
So there is one more thing that's on here that we're going to take a quick look at, and that is your graphic. Is it a graphic novel or is it a comic book?
It's a short graphic novel, so it's
Okay.
a standalone piece. It's a piece of rogues fantasy. And
Okay,
this is
good.
about a guy who's just failed his first real high-profile assassination, and now his life isn't worth squat because the people he
Oh,
works
no.
for killed him.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
And it's called In the Book, The Assassin's Tales for
In the
those who are
Back.
listening. Oh, In the Back, The Assassin's Tale by R.M. Hicks, Hicks. And when is that coming out?
I hope to have it available by Free Comic Book Day. So I do Free
Ooh.
Comic Book Day at DNA Comics.
Oh, nice.
That's neat. Okay. Can't wait to see that at the comic stores.
So
Me
what
too.
gave you the idea to do an actual graphic novel?
Oh, like I love art, but it's the stories that really compel me to want to even do art, right? Otherwise, like art is very difficult. It's very tedious. You spend a lot of time working it out, and sometimes it fails. But what makes art so much fun is the gratification you get when you really do a cool picture, when you put all this labor to it and it comes out. You want to see my favorite?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. Okay, can you see this one?
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Oh my gosh, for those lions?
Yes.
Yeah.
This I call this Bast and the Kings. Bast being the goddess, the Egyptian goddess of cats.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Very
wow.
cool.
That's
For
neat.
those who are listening, you're going to want to head to YouTube to check these guys out because there's some pretty cool pictures that are connected to this particular podcast.
So, like,
Gorgeous.
imagination is a very funny thing because, like, the lions were like a tickle in my brain for like 2 years. Every time I'd just be sitting around doing nothing, the lions would show up saying, "Draw me, draw me, draw me." Like, I don't know. I don't really just draw like, animals like that. It's got to be something fantastical, right? So when I finally decided to do it, that's when I came up with the idea of putting the Egyptian goddess in the middle of the picture, like she was summoning them and kind of bringing them into life.
Nice.
That's
and so
cool.
the picture came out, fairly well when I went through the sketches and did the design for it. But it was that's a 18 by 24 picture. So that took like almost 40 hours of just drawing, just shading it in.
Wow.
And it was it was like 10:30 on a Friday night, and I thought I had like a couple hours left to go on that picture. I thought, okay, I could just set it aside, go to bed, get a good night's sleep, and finish it up. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Get some beer, get the headphones on, put the music on, just go to town. 2:30 in the morning, I was finally spent. The picture was done, and it's just a wonderful experience. It's an experience you can't get anything else but to do art like that.
Sometimes you just need to carve it out and get it out of your head so you can actually get some rest.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some
from the
things
author's
can't be put on hold.
perspective. Yeah, from the author's perspective, I draw with words. And so when you've got something right there, you don't want to lose it. So setting it aside could actually mess it up later. And so for me, it's like just get it done, get it focused. And then when you get up the next morning, you have this awesome thing in front of you that you created the night before.
Do you keep a notepad by your bed?
I have a
So for
little.
those, just before you fall asleep, thoughts, you're like, oh, okay, got that one down. Didn't lose that one.
Sometimes I will actually text myself so that it's there in the morning. Or sometimes I'll.
Well, that's pretty
I
smart.
actually have a messenger on my Facebook for myself that it will generate, and so I do that as well.
I do that too.
I never did that. That's brilliant.
That's funny.
I send it from my personal account to my cosplay account so that I have any cosplay ideas. I'll just shoot it straight to me.
Yeah, there was one that I was working on, the Sands of Time trilogy, and the kids' names hit me. There's like 27 names, and they hit me like right before I went to sleep, like that zone where I was like mulling on it for a while, and all of a sudden it hit me the pattern that I wanted to use and which ones that I wanted to use, especially for the top 10. So I just started messaging myself, and then I went to sleep because then I can forget it.
Right, then you got it covered. You'll remember.
Right?
The problem is when it hits when you're like taking a shower or something where you can't jot it down, and then you're like going over your head like, don't forget.
That's why I like keeping my phone close by, because like I can yell at it. Hey, I don't want to say it. Hey Google. If I say
Hey,
it too
robot.
much.
They'll be
But like
listening.
I'd be like, make a note, something, or send a message to me.
Yeah, I'm a klutz. I'm afraid mine would go into the water somehow. So
I specifically
chance
have
it.
a stand in my bathroom in the shower so that I can record like me washing my hair for hair videos. I do that on my Snapchat, and like no one watches it except for like a few of my friends, and they're like, "I like how you do your hair," and I'm like, "Cool, let me show you what products I use." And sometimes I'll just do that like that.
That's different.
Content for youngins nowadays is weird. Sorry.
Yeah. So Hicks, what do you do
using
when
my
you've
hair.
got that thing in your brain and you can't figure out how to get it out without losing it?
Thoughts are funny that way, right? If you don't capture them, they're just gone. Go to the ephemeral.
So what do you do to kind of capture them and not lose it?
Like one more thing. This is one of my. This is the cover to Race of Gods.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's kind of shiny.
Oh, hold on, it's kind of shady.
Okay,
Oh,
you see how it's like two alien
One that's like your.
it looks
No,
like
it's
two skulls put together to make a heart.
Yeah, they make a heart.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
That was one of those where I was one of the 1 o'clock in the morning sketch ideas where I had spent a couple hours trying to draw this idea out that I had for the cover, and it just wasn't coming out. It was just awful. So I went to bed frustrated, and I lay there thinking about it, and it's one of those things where you just kind of in your head construct like, okay, instead of having just like one little sort of alien skull dangling off a rope, which was the original idea, what if I had like two, and then I attached them together? And it's weird how the imagination works. In your mind's eye, it's like you just see it, and you're like, oh my
You
god,
see it.
it's like a heart.
You
So
got to
one
get up.
In the morning, I'm up now sketching in the pad. 15 minutes later, I'm like, okay, this is what the picture's going to be. It was kind of neat.
That's awesome.
That is very cool. Now, is that a graphic novel as well?
It's a 5-issue miniseries, and it's called Raise the Gods, and that is science fiction stories based on Mayan mythology. So it's got this whole ancient alien astronaut theory thing about it. So aliens are pretending to be gods over man, and shamans kind of take care of the business.
So you're kind of a multi-level artist. You're not just artist, you're the artist with the words as well. So you're like your own book person.
When I became self-employed and I had some time on my hand, I thought I wanted to be a writer. And so I did some writing, and I wrote some, fantasy adventure stuff and some science fiction, cyberpunk thing. But I didn't really know what to do with it. It never felt like finished to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes sense or not. But
It does.
It's like
Yeah.
I can remember. It was like even like a chapter. It's like I would finish the chapter. I'm like, well, maybe I should tweak this or tailor that or mess around with that. And it just was never satisfying. Like writing's the funnest thing, just being lost in imagination, right?
Mm.
But when you're done with it, I can't really do anything with it. I don't know what to do with it. And I was always disappointed that I couldn't see it. It was just now just a stack of paper. So I was at one of those crossroad moments in your life where it's like, I'm just going to give up on it and just go back to what I was doing with life. Or I'm going to learn how to draw and actually draw my stories and turn them into comic books and graphic novels. And so that's where I'm at today.
There you
Right.
go.
So
Hey,
hold on.
work.
So you learned to draw so that you could do it for your books? Like it wasn't something that you've always done?
No, I had no talent.
Okay.
None.
Are you serious?
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
I always loved art. Like, I was always one of those kids that on your like math tests and your spelling bees, I'd doodle something goofy on the side of the paper, right? But I couldn't draw. I had no clue. I remember trying to draw, like probably when I was about 4, trying to draw a Woody Woodpecker, and it looked like a flaming tree. I had no idea why it couldn't look like. I had no idea why it couldn't look like Woody Woodpecker. He's just a bird with crazy hair, and you'd sit there and you'd draw. I was like, man, this is awful.
So how long have you actually been drawing? If you kind of taught yourself to do it this way?
I started seriously drawing probably around like 2007 when I first moved out to Houston. 2006 maybe.
Where are you from?
I did some art and other stuff, but it was like doing like a graphic novel and comic books. That's a whole degree of difficulty that it's hard to kind of explain. Mm-hmm. So even though I'd always kind of drawn and sketched, it's like now really taking the time to learn all this precision and all the symmetry that goes with it. That was a deal.
Oh, snap.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
That is very cool. So what got you started going to like Comic Cons and having your own art table?
2017 was the first year that I got started as an artist, and that was at Comic Palooza. And I didn't really know kind of how to present my art or what to do with it at the time. I just kind of had some ideas. And in 2016, I had met this guy at Comic Palooza who had been fortunate enough to get somebody to financially back his project. So he had hired some artists and people to do it. And he was giving me some hints and tips. And he says, okay, so, if you're going to get started in this, going to these cons, you got to do the fan art. You got to do Spider-Mans and Batmans and the stuff that people like, because that's what's going to sell. And he says, and if you don't make any money at it first, don't worry about it. It just takes practice, right? You just got to get used to doing it. And so I thought, well, okay. I had finished the artwork for Raise the Gods. And so I just wanted to start going to the convention so I could start meeting other artists and getting involved in the community and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And I don't really do superhero stuff. And I did a couple of, superhero pieces of art, but I said, I don't really want to do that. I don't want to draw superheroes. I want to do science fiction stuff, fantasy adventure stuff. And so what I decided to do for the fan art phase was to do video game art. And lo and behold, people who read comic books play video games. And so my art did really well. So I actually pulled off my first gig, 2017 at Comic Palooza. I actually pulled it off. I came out of there not, losing money. I felt really good about it. And then I got hit by Harvey. So I got hit by her.
No.
That's almost a year and a half out of my life. So then I get back into 2019, and I do a few shows, and 2019 ended really well for me. And then 2020, and then so there's all that.
It's been a roller coaster ride.
Stop kind of thing. So this feels pretty good right now, right? I'm finally getting into my groove. I'm getting kind of an audience base, and I'm getting comfortable with it, right?
Awesome.
So
that's cool.
How long have you guys been doing this then?
A little over a year
actually,
for the
Magic
podcast.
Making Mischief podcast.
Yeah.
Started last January.
Oh, okay.
Not this past one, but the one before it.
Yeah.
So
But
a year ago,
Mombi
January.
Yeah, Mom been doing
And
YouTube
I
stuff.
actually started my YouTube channel in 2017, but I didn't start doing cons and stuff like that until 2019. So it was like before then it was all, hey, we love Disney vacations and here's how you do what we do.
And going to Dickens on the Strand and showing you guys a good
That was
time.
no, that wasn't until after I got into the cons though. That was about 2019 we started doing it because Greg Kelso, that was the con hour, who recently passed away, he was the reason I started asking to go to events because he said if you don't ask, you've already you're already not going, you're not losing anything by asking. So I started
Oh, yeah,
asking.
no. I was just adding that you did that too.
I did do that, yeah.
So,
Events.
Yeah.
So
you kind of get like
the Art of
invited
the
to
Ride
events
says,
now?
"Love this podcast so much. Look forward to it all week. Love you too."
Thank you. Love you too.
So I've been doing podcasts since 2020, I believe. Comic Cons prior to because
Good year
I'm
to
an
start when
author.
everybody's at home.
Huh?
Good year to start when everybody's at home.
Pretty much.
2020.
That's about it.
That's
But
usually
prior
how it
to
goes.
that, I'm an author. So I have 19 novels, 2 children's books, and 3 anthologies. So I write sci-fi. So I've been in and out of cons for a long time.
My first con was in 2016, I believe. It's also the same year I met my husband, and I didn't start
Aw,
going hardcore at cons, or at least cosplaying, like making my own cosplays, until 2020, because that's when we had time.
Right?
And my
A
first
lot
con
of
was
people had
Iridessa.
Well, I'll tell you, the one thing that being stuck at home in 2020 and 2021, besides being kind of frustrating for me, was taking a whole new approach to how I'm interacting with conventions and with the community in general, basically. And and part of the approach that I'm doing right now is, I guess, in a way, it's maybe a bit similar to what you're doing in the way that you interact with your podcast and with the way that you're promoting the conventions, and you're just, I guess, just kind of being there and being involved in the community itself. Like, the thing that I really love about conventions, and like I don't have any interest in doing work for Marvel Comics or DC Comics or any of the big studios. I like being an independent, right? I just like drawing my own stories, kind of doing my own thing. I have no interest in the money. There's no real money to be gotten out of it. You got to do it
You
because
don't
you
do
love
it
it.
for money.
You
You
love
do
it,
it
Yeah,
for
no.
love.
Do it for the love of it.
Mhm.
So, taking that into consideration, the thing that I love about being at the conventions is you're basically making friends. These are people who, when they come up and they buy something, or even just stand there and admire my art, it's like you automatically have a connection with them. They're not really like strangers anymore. It's not like you're standing in line and you can't make that connection at the grocery store with somebody because you don't know what to talk about. And
Yeah, it's like these are your people. Pretty
they
much.
are. That's really it. And like, and for you, Mombierella, the picture that you bought of Elvira, I love doing that live art auction stuff. Like at Comic Palooza, they got they got a little sheet right next to you where people can write their names and the price of what they want to buy the art for while you're drawing it. And there was this gothic couple at Comic Palooza last year that kept coming by. I was doing the piece I was doing was like a post-apocalyptic chariot where it was like an old beat-up car being pulled by radioactive bears and this raider guy with a shotgun and mohawk on top. It was pretty cool.
That sounds cool.
Kept coming by like every 10, 15 minutes, see that somebody else had outbid them, and then make a new bid. And
That's awesome.
the thing goes until 11 at Comic Palooza, and once I was done with the picture, I left because I started early. Well, they came by my table, my booth, the next day, and then ended up buying some of my stuff and telling me because they didn't win the picture. Somebody else outbid them.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Womp womp.
Yeah, they had to settle for something else, but they were really cool, and they bought some art from me later on off of my website.
Oh,
That's awesome.
good.
I actually, during Terrorfest, I remember looking at your art, and one of the ones that I don't know if you did it just because Terrorfest is a horror theme, but like you had this Dracula one that I loved. I remember it had like a pop of color to it, and that's what stood out to me. Like it was all pencil sketch, but there was like this pop of color to it, if I remember right. It's been a while.
Yeah, I don't have it sitting around with me.
Oh no, yeah. I wish I'd have taken a picture. I mean, I'm sure it's in the vlog because I did share Terrorfest that weekend. You know, like I definitely cover that one. It's one of my, well, it's the only horror con that I go to, but I'm like really into that stuff, so it works out well.
I
It's local. I don't have to drive far.
One of the things I love about Comic Cons, besides the people and just the fun of it, is there are so many creatives that are there that bring their own stuff
That's
that
true.
they've done, and it's really cool to be able to actually just talk to them and kind of experience it with them sometimes.
It's amazing how many friends I actually know now just from being at cons, and like
Same.
like people who run the circuit, right? You see them. I could be
Yep.
in Austin or Dallas or somewhere, and then I might be next to somebody that I met like a year ago or something, right? That's neat.
Well, then
that's
it's
how
fun
we
if you
met.
see them. Yeah. Then it's fun because if you see them in the real world, or the real world, it's like you're like, oh yeah, where do I remember
Right.
you from? And then you figure it out, and then it's
Man,
fun.
the amount of times that's happened to me.
At a convention, like out in the street where we were out shopping or something.
hmm
Oh, well, actually, we met, CJ and me met the first time at Comic Conroe's first year, and she was helping you were helping run the floor that year and everything, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was only my second convention because I went in 2019 and then everything shut down 2020. And so Comic Conroe opened right at the end of 2020. Wait, when was that? Somewhere in that zone.
Ooh.
Somewhere.
There
Yeah.
wasn't a lot going on, and it was the first convention in that whole area, so it was like a huge deal.
Yeah.
And
That's
we
actually
met.
the first con. That's actually the first con I helped run.
We
You
met
run
in
the cons, huh?
Huh?
You run the conventions. You help promote them.
I
and
helped
work
run
at
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
she runs the floor.
CJ's a
Yep.
boss, all right?
Oh yeah, she's
She's
awesome.
a boss babe. She
Yeah.
does a
I help
lot.
run the floor. I keep everything spinning. So I help, they get it all set up, and I make it run. Basically, is the deal.
Yeah.
My husband and I help run them.
And actually, funny, me and Yukita met like at a con too, but we met at the anime con in Connor. Actually, they were both in Connor. Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. I like
That's
Conroe.
funny. Yeah, right. It's a nice area, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
All my friends live there.
Is the Conroe Comic Con a big con?
It's small.
Not really.
Is it?
It's small,
Yeah.
but it's like it's got one of those
It's a homey
feels to
feel.
it.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah. It's like the home con. And so like this year they had a lot of new stuff they added they were working with. And I
Mhm.
liked some of the stuff that they did. They were kind of I didn't get to do as much of some of the things as I normally do as far as like hitting the panels and stuff because I did the cosplay contest and it was my first one this year. So
Heyo.
Saturday was like absorbed into all that.
Yes. She got a peek into what it's like to be a cosplayer who does competitions.
She's braver
Yeah.
than I ever would be.
What kind of Yukita? What kind of costumes do you like to do? Like, what kind of characters do you like to play?
We just got
So-
turned it around.
I prefer doing I like Disney and things that I grew up with. However, my husband is a comic book nerd, so of course I do stuff to appease him because I like that. I like doing a little bit of both. Hi, Jeremy. And
Small but fun.
so
Yes, that's Comic Con.
yes. And so some of my favorite comic book characters, like one of them being Black Canary, which I actually cosplayed on Sunday. That was a hit. And then
She was
you've got
popular.
a lot of it. It was great. But I also like doing characters that no one really thinks about that much. Like, for example, from Encanto, everyone knows Mirabel, everyone knows Luisa, everyone knows Abuelita and all those characters, but they don't really see the cousins come out a lot. So my favorite cosplay from there is Dolores, which is the one that I actually got popular from. And also Kim Possible. I like cosplaying Monique, her friend, more than I like cosplaying Kim Possible because I don't have to wear a wig, basically. I'm a lazy cosplayer if I can.
Do you do any of the lines from the characters or
Yes, I do. When I cosplay characters, I research them and study them hard.
There you go. Well, I hate to do this, but we're running out of time because we're only about 30 minutes. So for those who want to learn more about artist R.M. Hicks, who also is known as Vermillion Root, make sure to catch him online. You can go to, let's see, wait till it comes across real quick. Vermillionroot.com. I wasn't sure if it was a www in front of him or not, but VERMILLIONRROOT root.com. Make sure to catch him there. He can find his social medias. You can pretty much find him anywhere under Vermillion Root as his handle. At the various ones, especially I know Instagram, I know that you're on, and I know that you're on Facebook as well. So
I
make
don't
sure
do a
to
lot
catch him
of
there.
social media, but mostly Instagram. But
Mhm.
I do post
There you
stuff.
go. Catch them on Instagram, Vermillion
There
Root.
you go.
Yeah.
You
Thank you
mentioned
so
that
much.
Oh, I was going to ask real quick. You mentioned that somebody bought work from you after an event. Do you sell online too?
My website has prints for sale.
Okay, awesome.
Very cool.
And of course, anybody, if they see an original that I'm selling, like at a convention, they can always contact me through the website or whatever, and I'll sell it to them that way. Yeah.
Nice.
Very cool. Well,
Convenient.
thank you, sir, so much for taking the time to join us this week. Next
fun.
week we have voice actor Tom McKee, who's going to be joining us. Yep, so we're excited to have him coming on. So in the meantime, you have we're slightly over. So if there's something you want to quickly add, Hicks, go ahead. I know I accidentally.
I'm good.
a little bit.
Thank you guys very much for having me on. I enjoyed it. My one's got a light.
I see.
It does.
Aw,
That's
now I
awesome.
feel
Nibble.
slightly jilted, but that's okay. Go ahead, Mombi, take us out.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure. And are you going to be at Comic Conroe or not Comic 40? Sorry. Long weekend last weekend.
I'll be at
Comic
Terra Fest.
Palooza.
There
Okay.
you go.
Well,
Terra
definitely see that.
That you know of, yeah.
Awesome. So
And
we
then
will
next year,
see-
I would like to be at Comic Conroe.
That would be awesome. We'd love to see you there.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys, for joining us. I hope y'all are having a great week. If you haven't had a chance to yet, make sure to hit that thumbs up, subscribe, ring that notification bell, comment down below if you're on YouTube. Check out CJ Peterson, Mombierella, and on Instagram, Yukita Cosplay. Till next time, love you guys. Mischief managed.